Have you ever watched these videos where you have one expert at a topic and they will explain the topic at different levels? Well, I'm about to bring us back all the way to the basics. A child. People tend to overcomplicate every topic. Who knows why they do it? Maybe they try, they're trying to flex their knowledge on a homie. ChatGPT is also guilty of this. You can see that this AI is just railing me aggressively with words.
The process of elephantine parturition is an extraordinary.
But then one day I found this book, The Thing Explainer. The concept of the book is this. This is a book of pictures and simple words. Each page explains how something important or interesting works using only the 1,000 words in our language that people use the most. Let's dig deeper into the book. Here we have the bags of stuff inside you, otherwise known as organs. We have the yellow water holder. This holds yellow water until you push it out. Here, they literally call an airplane a skyboat, but this one is a skyboat with turning wings, and for some reason there's a horse over here. And then we have a submarine, so a boat that goes under the sea. We've always had boats that go under the sea, but in the last few hundred years we've learned to make ones that come back up. Wait, why when I read this the first thing I thought about was the Titanic? That is so messed up. So we have a periodic table. The pieces everything is made of. If I pull up an actual periodic table, and salt, right? Part of this salt is sodium. Oh, he even shows the top 1,000 words that he was forced to isolate himself to when explaining all these things. You might be saying like, oh, I don't have this book, but we don't have to be limited to just one book or one author. We have access to the most advanced technology this world has to offer. AIs. I love the book, and so I was like, why don't I just prompt the AI to teach me in the same teaching style as the book? And so I created this prompt. Essentially, I explained to the AI, hey, answer the following question as if you were the writer of the book. And then this is the concept of the book. I ask it a question. This is something I want to learn. And these are just examples. This is what you want to change. The prompt will be in the description below. Here's like a very simple example. I ask, what is calculus? It tells me that calculus is change math, is a kind of number work that helps us understand how things change and move. Now I know the main idea behind change math. So now when I try to learn something in calculus, I'm already in the right frame of mind. And so in order to demonstrate this even further, let's say I want to learn how to turn on this LED light. I bought this electrical engineering kit along with like a Udemy course. No, there's not a Logitech controller in that box. Just a bunch of electrical equipment. You gotta be resourceful, man. Now I need to go into the box and figure out what I need to get an LED light to turn on. I made some educated guesses as to what we would need, but that's what ChatGPT's for. We're gonna use our prompt. Boom, my question. Then I asked ChatGPT for the list of required tools I would need. If you wanna make a tiny bright thing glow, here's how you can do it with some simple parts and wires. So we need a flat board with holes. That's a breadboard, we got that. It's got like rows and columns, a plus and a minus sign. We need a little glowing thing, an LED. We have these little LED lights, but I do see like, it looks like a plain, like basic white one. And so I'm just gonna use that. Wait, now I'm confused. It's got like 4 legs. I ended up telling ChatGPT about my 4-legged LED, and it turns out this is an RGB LED. RGB stands for red, green, and blue, and you can combine these colors to basically make whichever color you want. It's probably gonna be way too complicated. I'm actually going to swap this for an LED with 2 legs. This is the LED that we're gonna work with. A tiny bit that stops too much power. Oh, I've heard of these. We have a bunch of resistors here. A wire to give power. Jumper wires. These guys. It's like a little jumper cable. The thing that's kind of confusing me is that these cables are like green and black, and then something to give power, a battery pack or USB source. So this thing takes AA batteries, and so this has to be the power source. Now that we have gathered all of the requirements, it's time to put it all together. It says put the glowing thing in the board. Find the 2 legs of the LED. One is longer. This is the plus leg. Put each leg into a different row. Make sure they're not in the same line of holes. So the longer leg is the plus. If you look at the LED, there's actually 2 legs, and you can see that one is longer than the other. Okay, I'm pretty sure that the rows are the ones that are numbered, so they're divided into 2 halves. Yes. Holes in the same half of a row are connected to each other, and the lettered are just the columns. So I put it in 2 different rows. You can see I put it on row 30, and it looks like 29. Add the tiny bit that stops too much power. Take your resistor and connect one end to the same row as the shorter leg of the LED. So the shorter one is on row 30. Looks like we have a bunch of resistors, and they all have like different numbers. So like this one says 68K. I knew the numbers weren't there to look pretty, so I asked ChatGPT what the the numbers meant. Using a 22 ohm resistor might allow too much current to flow, which can make it very bright. So now I'm starting to understand what a resistor really does. If there's too much power going to this, then it can pop, right? So I'm gonna need to figure out my LED power and how to determine how much power the battery pack supplies. So I'm gonna ask 2 questions here. I see that the battery pack says 1.5 volts for each battery. This one has 4. 1.5 times 2 is 3 and times another 2 is 6. Now I found some AA's. These are 1.5 volts. They're kind of sliding in perfectly. So now we have a 6 volt battery pack. Okay, there's an on switch here. I have to just turn it on to make sure it works. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, I have no idea if that worked. Maybe it's not noticeable until I actually connect it to the breadboard. So, and then now with the LED light, I don't know how many volts this has. Maybe whenever I bought it, it has like a list. So this is all the parts and materials from the course. It doesn't even tell me how much volts it has. I'm just gonna have to guess, I think. So I used the prompt to ask ChatGPT for a guess on the amount of volts this LED has in order to figure out which resistor I should use. You've got a power pack that pushes with 6, and your tiny glowing thing probably needs about 2. Look at your bunch of helpers. If you see one marked 200R, use it. That's all you had to tell me. I have one that shows 100R, and so maybe you can have 2 of them. I don't have anything that says 200R. Put 2 together in a way that adds up to about 200R. Yes. When you connect 2 resistors in a line, their slowing power adds up. And so we're gonna go 2 100R resistors. I got my 2 resistors. So take your resistor and connect one end to the same row as the shorter leg. Put the other end in a different row. Okay. Dude, these things are so small, I feel like I'm gonna break them. This is kind of what I got so far. So I have one leg on the negative side of the LED, so like on the same row, and then I have the other leg on a different row. Now, in order to combine, I would assume that I need to do the same thing. I'm basically like continuing the loop by putting the other resistor on the same line, and then continuing it in a different row. Take a jumper wire. So now we got 2 green ones, and we got 2 black ones. It was at this point, ChatGPT ended up telling me that I had to clip the green jumper cable onto the red wire on the battery. And in order to do that, I would have to use wire strippers to expose the metal part. Hope I don't break this. Oh shit. I cut the wire. Maybe I need to put it lighter. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so you want me to do this right there. Boom. But now I need to figure out where do I connect this other cable. The only thing I could think of was clipping the jumper wire to the positive leg of the LED directly.
Are you sure about that?
The jumper wire does not clip directly onto the plus leg itself. Instead, it connects to the row in their breadboard where the plus leg is plugged in. Okay, but you're not understanding that this thing is too big. I told ChatGPT that the jumper cable would not fit, and then it seemed to forget the last message it sent me. Clip the jumper wire directly to the plus. But it said that I shouldn't do this. It says clipping directly to the LED is a common workaround, so let's just keep going. Now we're gonna do the black side. Take your black jumper wire, clip one end to the power box. You can see I connected this to the black end, and now it says to the free end. Okay, so now we're gonna clip it onto the resistor. Boom. Okay, so now I have the whole circuit, and if everything worked, this LED light should turn on. Turn on the power. So I'm gonna turn on the power in 3, 2, 1. No way. Yo, solely using ChatGPT with this method, I was able to get this LED light to turn on. Hold on, I gotta get my wife over here. Isn't that cool?
That's crazy.
Well, I should be able to turn it off and turn it back on. Okay, I just turned it off. I'm gonna turn it back on. It should still work, yeah. If you want to learn something, use this method. It's gonna teach you simply how things work. You guys can see it right here. It's working. Again, the prompt that I created is in the description, so you can go in there and just copy and paste it into ChatGPT or whatever LLM you use. And while you're down there, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna become an electrical engineer now. Awesome. Peace. See you guys.